Hey YouTube land, Tychonderus here doing another action figure review. Now you may note there's no figures in the starting section, but it's because I'm going to go through the boxes first as quick as I can, because this is probably going to be a fairly long-winded review. Well, not so much. Most of the figures use the same body sculpt, so with a few exceptions, but overall they have all the same articulation. But what this is a collection of Masters of the Universe Origins figures that I have been meaning to review, and I'm doing the evil villain side first, and I have a bunch of hero side stuff, so I'm going to do villains and heroes and do a whole review. So there's two deluxe figures in this review that I'm doing. First off will be Buzzsaw Hordak, who comes in this larger packaging. So obviously the figures are not in the boxes. They do come with mini comics. If I flip around to the back of the boxes, you can see other figures in the wave. So there's Buzzsaw, Hordak, Battle Armor, Skeletor, Battle Armor He-Man, Castle Grayskull, and the Wind Raider. I haven't gotten the Wind Raider yet. It's the only thing out of this lineup that I have not gotten. On the top, I know this is upside down. Actually, I'll just bring the camera up, make it easier. So, on the top of the box, you have an interesting setup of Buzzsaw Hordak with the Mantisaur in the background and Flying Fists He-Man, if I remember. Yeah, there's Thunder Punch and Flying Fist. This is Flying Fist He-Man, who was recently announced, if I recall, along with Terra Claw's Skeletor. So they are coming at some point either later this year or early next year. This is the American version of the set. So the mini comics that are included in these ones have the speech bubbles. Some of the figures I have are the European versions, which don't have any speech bubbles, so we'll get into that when I get around to the figures. So out of the two deluxe figures, we have Buzzsaw Hordak to review, and if I just bring it in, you got Battle Armor Skeletor. Now, Battle Armor Skeletor does come with the same mini comic as both Battle Armor He-Man and Merman. So they have the same comic. I think Clamp Champ has a different one. I'll have to double check on that. But I turn around the back of the packaging. Actually, I think Clamp Champ has the same one again, because he's noted on this. So this one has a bit of a bigger lineup. So you have Battle Armor He-Man, She-Ra, Roboto, Battle Armor Skeletor, Merman, which is the action figure based version. The first one, Zodak, Clamp Champ, Battle Cat, Panther. Now, out of all these figures, I have pretty much everything except for the furry version of Panther, which isn't noted on this. I do have everything on this box, and Battle Armor Skeletor will be reviewing in this review, and this version of Merman. So I think Merman is wave 3, if I recall. So She-Ra, Merman, Zodak, and Roboto were all part of wave 3. I did a review for She-Ra because she was the first one I got, and it took me ages to pick up the rest of that wave because they went out of stock very fast. So getting to the regular carded figures, some of these are the European versions, so they don't have the speech bubbles. Again, I'll get into the figures and their comics as I go along. It's going to be a bit of a long-winded one, so bear with me, guys. I hope you enjoy this review as I look through these. So Merman here is the classic style Merman, and on the top of the box you got some nice artwork of Merman. You have Spider and He-Man fighting, I think it's Battle Armor Skeletor and Battle Armor He-Man fighting, and you got Merman swimming underneath them and other creatures behind them, which is kind of nice. In fact, actually, if I bring back in Skeletor's box, because I didn't do it for Skeletor, you can see Skeletor powering up on the image for this. It looks like an interior of Snake Mountain. You have Beastman with a couple of creatures around him and the normal version of evillynn, and then it shows the options of what you can do. You smack him with you roll the armor thing up and then you hit it and it goes into battle damage mode. Anyone old enough who remembers the original Battle Armor He-Man and Skeletor, it's pretty much the same gimmick. So here is one of the newest wave figures. Okay, not in the box, but it is the box for one of the newest wave figures. This is Lords of Power version Beastman. So if I flip around the back of the box, this wave just hit over here in Ireland. So this is the European version, which I managed to pick up. So you have this version of Beastman, and you have Webster, Stinkor, and Eternia Goddess, or the Green Goddess as she's known as. Unfortunately, I was only able to secure the Goddess and Beastman. Webster and Stinkor sold out within minutes of them going online on the Smith's website. Hopefully, they are kind of in stores. Some stores have got them, some stores haven't, but it doesn't seem to update on the website which stores have them. So hopefully, if I get a chance to hit up the 2 stores that are near me, they might have the 2 missing figures that I'm looking for, that I need to complete this wave. So unfortunately, I won't be able to do a Stinkor review or a Webster review until I have them. Here is evillynn 2 version 2, I would like to say. And you can see the Masters of the Universe logo on the front, which is the 2000X style Masters of the Universe. So this one is based on that design. And for this wave, it came with repacks of Skeletor and He-Man with the original toy heads, Faker, Merman, which is Legion, Lord of Power version of Merman, evillynn, and Fisto. And Faker is the other one that I will be reviewing this wave. Now, again, these are the European versions, so their comics the mini comics have no speech bubbles in them. And if I flip around Faker's box, you can see there's an image of Faker. It looks like it shows him in the shadows, and he's leaping out of the shadows with many faces, and Ramman looking on, being kind of confused. And for evillynn's one, if I flip it back around, it shows Lords of Power Merman, which is basically a toss-up between the Lords of Power original design and the 2000X design, so it has that kind of nod to it. Trapjaw, the first appearance of Triclops, I think he's called. He's the one that was recently released as PowerCon exclusive. So he's kind of like a first appearance style of Triclops. And you have Stinkor down here, who unfortunately I don't have to review. And here is an arm of someone, but I can't really make it out who it is. It looks like it's almost... Actually, sorry, it's not an arm. It's Stinkor's shield, because it's a blue shield. So there it is for the packaging. Bear with me while I get everything set up, and we'll jump straight into the figures. And we're back. Now, I'll try and keep the basic figures review to a minimum, because they all have pretty much the same articulation, with the exception of evillynn, who has obviously a different body type. And then I'll do the deluxe figures so you can see them kind of how they work and how they're different. So getting evillynn out of the way first, she uses the same basic body sculpt as Teela, and she also is the same body type as the Green Goddess, or Eternian God. Eternian Goddess. Now the main difference is the Eternian Goddess, when I get her, actually if I grab her out of where I have her, bear with me 2 seconds while I just grab her. Mattel redesigned the legs on the female figures. So if I bring in Green Goddess, you can see her knees are actually different. They're not as lumpy looking as evillynn's here. Now there is a version of evillynn that has that newer sculpt. Unfortunately, I didn't get it at the time I picked this one up. So there is, as far as I'm aware, there's a running change with evillynn. Both versions of evillynn, the one with the yellow jaundice skin and this one, which is based on the 2000X style design. And they have the newer leg sculpt, which looks a little bit more nicer and not as unsightly when you use the knee on these. But articulation wise, she has all the standard articulation as the female sculpts. So she can kick her legs forward, do the splits, single jointed knee with a swivel. There's a swivel in the boot. There is a ankle tilt and ankle joint with a rotation in the hand with a hinge. She comes with one accessory, which is her scepter in a dark purple as opposed to the light blue that the original one came with. She has waist swivel. She has, her arms can go up and she can rotate all the way around. And she has a single jointed elbow with a swivel, and she has a ball jointed head. So now, as far as I remember, she comes with the same comic that both Faker and the the repackaged Skeletor and the Merman comes with, which is, if I find it here, my little pile, it should be this one, which is Sucker Punch. Now, as I said before, this is the European edition, so it has no speech bubbles. So it's basically a mini story that involves Fisto, Faker, Skeletor, and I don't even think Evillynn turns up in this. Maybe she does for one panel. Yeah, she turns up for one panel. So this is sort of in this. Most of the characters of this wave are in this, except Merman, it looks like. I know, Merman's in there for one panel as well, just to get him in there. But she comes with the same one that Faker comes with, so I won't need to go through that. The Battle Armor Skeletor comes with this one, which is the Battle Armor story. This one actually has the speech bubbles, and it's basically Clamchamp, He-Man, Battle Armor He-Man, Clamchamp, Ramman, and Battle Armor Skeletor are the main cast members in this, and Battle Cat. You also have King Randor, which is kind of cool, on those Skeletor robots. And then for whatchamacallit, for Hordak, forgetting guys' names now, comes with this one, which is the Horde Plague, which is again He-Man, buzzsaw, Hordak. Is it Battle Armor He-Man in this? No, I think it's just standard He-Man. But the other deluxe figure, which is available at the moment, but I haven't seen it here and I haven't got one yet, is Skeletor. So Skeletor comes with this same mini comic. And then for Beastman, he comes with this one. Again, this is the European version. There's no title on this, but it features a army of figures. You have Skeletor, Webster, Stinkor, anyone else in there? Green Goddess is there. I'm not sure how they explain that one, because like it's normally the sorceress is in charge of Grayskull. So if you have one with the speech bubbles, you might be able to tell what is going on. And I think that's it for the figures. Oh, actually, nope. I tell a lie. The one that comes with the standard version of Merman is this one, which is the one with Zodak. Again, no speech bubbles, so you can't really tell what's going on. And it doesn't seem to have a title, unlike some of the other ones. So that's it for the comics. We'll try and get into the figures now. So we have evillynn out of the way. So Faker, for those who know who Faker is basically a recolored or blue He-Man figure sporting Skeletor's armor, a power sword. Now, the thing about Faker for this line is he comes with the classic style action figure head, the 80s one, instead of the Origins head, which was the newer one. He comes with a full power sword as opposed to a half sword. And he still has the, I just pop his head off and pop the armor off. He still has the tempo. Actually, it'd be easier if I take the arms off. All of these guys are intended to be swappable. He does have the sticker, or well, it's not sticker, it's a printed paint app of the robotics sort of stuff on the chest, just like the original. In fact, I think the original one might have been a sticker. I could be wrong. I've never had the original. But he does have that traditional blue skin, like Skeletor style skin, and red hair. In fact, if I bring in one of the Skeletors I have handy, you can see the skin tone matches up perfectly. So if you wanted to swap arms, you could give Skeletor armored gauntlets instead of having the kind of web kind of hands. You can give him boots as well. You can swap the waists around and give him purple trousers or boots if you want to. So you have that option. And for Beastman, he is quite cool. Now, he doesn't come with any weapon accessory. He's the only one that didn't actually come with a weapon. But he does have really cool armor. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Lords of Power, I think is what the original line was going to be called before it became He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. So they did a San Diego Comic-Con, I think, or was it PowerCon box set with Man-at-Arms, He-Man, Skeletor, Beastman, and Merman. And they've released a couple of figures in the basic line. So Beastman here is one of them. This version of Merman is the Lord of Power version. I don't have a Lord of Power Skeletor or He-Man. The He-Man wasn't that much different to the normal one, but there was a Lord of Power Man-at-Arms, which looked pretty cool. He kind of looked like the 2000X version with the fur on the sides of his armor. So hopefully that will get a release at some point. I think he might have been mentioned in one of the next couple upcoming waves. So hopefully that will be the case. I really love this Beastman figure, even if you don't use him as Beastman. In fact, if I bring in the good old classic, more traditional Beastman, you can see the differences. His armor is a lot different. His arms are a lot different. The arms on this one are a lot more chunkier. He looks more ape-like as well, which is kind of cool. I really love the head sculpt on this thing. The armor is packaged inside the box, so if you like, he comes with the bare chest open. The armor is behind the actual figure in the packaging. He doesn't have the shoulder pads, but if you were to put them on it, this armor would probably get in the way. The one thing I really think is a bit of a shame is he still has those weird sock style feet as opposed to beast or kind of animalistic or beastie style feet. Both figures have it. It looks like he's wearing weird socks and then has fur on top. He doesn't come with an accessory. He does use all the same arms or hands, legs. The only thing that's different is the lower arms on the head and the armor pieces. So you can give him the original Origins Beastman whip if you want. So you will hold it quite nicely. I do find that Beastman's hands are actually slightly different to normal figures' hands. He seems to have a smaller grip, so he doesn't tend to hold weapons that easily, like the power swords and stuff like that, or the staffs that some of the other figures come with. So there is that. But other than that, he's a pretty cool figure, and the paint apps, I'm just bringing his head up close to the camera. You can see how cool the paint deco on the blue under the eyes just really pops for this guy. You can see the weird bestial monkey head, which is pretty cool, or ape style head, which is really cool, and the giant fangs. Really good figure. I do recommend picking him up if you can find him. Out of the whole wave, well, out of the two figures I have in the wave so far, he's my favorite. That will probably change when I get Webstore or Stinkor. So here is the Merman, which is the standard style Merman based on the original action figure. So I'm not sure if I gave him the right sword. He comes with one of these corn on the cob style swords. I think his one might have been more brighter yellow that matched up with his armor. I think I might have given him this one. I didn't see the other one in the accessory bag that I had everything in. So, but he does come with this standard sword. He is essentially a green Skeletor figure, so he has all the same articulation as Skeletor. So the arms go out. Beastman, all of them all have the same articulation. Legs can kick forward, has a joint, swivel at the boot, has hinge at the ankles, a waist rotation, ball jointed head. Again, designed to pop apart. There is a notable difference in the color schemes for the Lords of Power. Lord's Power is a darker orange than the bright yellow, and the skin tones are darker overall, and he has like different feet, different head, different arms, so he's a good bit different overall. Still uses the same basic standard book, but that is them out of the way. So moving on to Skeletor, we'll hit Skeletor up first. So this is Battle Armor Skeletor. He's pretty sweet. Never had the original as a kid. I do remember playing with one as a kid, but I never owned one, and I always thought he was really, really cool. He comes with this default grimace face, the not a happy chappy, and the gimmick is that you hit this thing and it damages as it goes along, and it's on a little barrel, so you just swing it back to its default position. Now the sword I have here with him is actually not the one that he comes with. He comes with the standard half power sword, and what's cool is he has a place on the back that he can store it. You can actually store this full-size one, or the full power sword. This is the full power sword that came with this version of Skeletor. And this version of Skeletor is the repacked one from wave 4 or 5 that came with the Lords of Power, Merman and Faker. Or that came in the same wave as Faker and Lords of Power, Merman and Evillynn. He comes with a full power sword as opposed to a half power sword, and he also comes with a more closer to the original action figure head. Now, the reason a lot of people would have gone for this set, the battle armor set, is because that battle armor set originally came with that head as well. It's just slightly different paint apps on each of them. They're like the yellow is a bit more faded in some areas than it is on the others. But the idea was you could pop the head off this guy. If I can do it off, I'll just have to do it off screen. You can pop the head off him. It is really tight to get this head on. So, oh, I don't break it. So the idea was to give him a more traditional Skeletor head. He also comes with a alternate hand, which is a 2 gripping hand, so you can actually grip his staff and his sword at the same time. So if I pop out his hand, give him his more traditional power sword that he came with, and give him his Havoc staff, so you could have him dual wield his Havoc staff and power sword. And he also comes with this really cool shield, just to counter He-Man's shield. It has a really nice motif. It's done in purple with a skull face on it, and you have like the bolts on it, which is pretty sweet. So just to give a quick look-see, here is Skeletor with Battle Armor Skeletor, and here is the original first version Origin Skeletor with the kind of more open mouth. The head is transferable between, the heads are transferable between all of them. The blues match up as well, so you can actually match them, to mix and match parts, even though you don't really need to because they all have the same basic kind of components. The only thing I will say, which is a big difference to the standard Skeletor and the battle armor, is that you cannot take battle armor apart at the waist. He's not designed to pop off at the waist, but I think you can, if I remember correctly. Can you take the arms off? Actually, I don't think you can take the arms off in these either. So your own options really are the boots can be swapped out or the hands can be swapped around. So I don't want to force it. I'm pretty sure the arms and the waist are not intended to be snapped apart on these ones. So just be wary of that. If you do pick this one up, he's not supposed to be really mixed and matched with the other ones. Apart from the hands, you do get like an extra hand where you have an open grip hand. But overall, he's quite a nice figure. So I'm just going to pop back his other head, which is very, very tight. You can hear the pop of the head. There we go. I really do like this unhappy Skeletor face, which is kind of cool. So for the last figure in the wave, I just need to bring him in. Bear with me a moment. Is Hordak, or buzzsaw Hordak. Now, I'll bring in the standard version of Hordak straight off. So the standard version and the buzzsaw one look almost identical. The main differences are, again, the arms are not intended to be swapped around. He comes with the same crossbow. He doesn't come with this bat shield thing that the original one came with, but you can give it to him if you want to. He comes with these buzzsaw pieces, and the way it works is there's one already loaded in him. He has a spring-loaded gimmick where you press down here on the back of his cape. If I just make his head, if I can do it on screen with one hand, it would be amazing. I have to balance him. So the idea is you press down on the cape and the black piece, and it fires out the buzzsaw. So if I just load him up again, he clicks into place and fired at Skeletor, because, you know, Skeletor and Hordak are rivals. So the buzzsaws are both the same as far as I'm aware. Actually, no, buzzsaws are different. There's a more kind of bladed one, and then there's kind of a more star one. So there is a difference in the buzzsaws. They do have the bat logos on them for Hordak's team. And you just click it back into place, fold it up. I don't think it can work. I don't think it's powerful enough to open the chest when you fire it, but let me just try it. Yeah, it's not really, it doesn't really come out that well when you try to fire it with the chest piece closed. Now, the other alternative things he comes with, again, just like Skeletor, he comes with a alternate hand. He comes with 2 alternate heads, this sort of happy smiley face and this kind of standard Hordak face. Now, you may think it looks the exact same as the normal one, but it's actually different. The eyes are a lot more redder. They don't have pupils on them. They're just red, flat red. So I'm not sure if you can see that as well. Overall, the rest of it is pretty much the same. There's a bit of a difference as well with the grey on the side as opposed to kind of a off black. So it's a lot more lighter on the sides, but it has the same kind of head sculpt. I think the way this is actually constructed is these eyes are actually a separate piece. So if you were to pull this off, the eyes would probably still be on the kind of whatever way it's set. So they just put clear red plastic in for the eyes as opposed to doing the black with the pupils. Did save a bit on paint apps, I would imagine. And then for the one last thing I want to show on my one, now this could be just mine, but there's a bit of paint fading on the red. The red kind of didn't seem to stick as well on the right side of his bat symbol as opposed to the left side. You can see it's a lot stronger red. It seemed to fade it out on my one, but overall I don't mind too much. I do love this figure, and I do hope we get some of the other Hordak variants as well. I think there was another one with a gold armor plated torso, unless that was just classics I'm thinking of. But overall, I do hope we get that guy as well. So there you go, guys. I hope this wasn't too long-winded for you. I hope this wasn't too long-winded for you. And as I say in my videos, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Cheers, guys.